Good morning, everyone. Sorry for the late start, technical issues. But good morning, welcome to another Sunday Live where we do a 20 question mock test and a hazard perception demonstration. Because the amount of emails I'm still getting from you guys about the hazard perception. So what I will do a demonstration at the end of the live and show you a technique of how to beat the system as well. If you guys got any questions that you need answering, theory related, driving lessons related, driving tests related, any questions about driving in general, put it into the comment section, put a Q semicolon. It should look like this. It makes it easier for me to find, otherwise it just looks like a comment, so I may miss it. So like I said, if you've got any questions, feel free to put it in the chat. Let's answer it. That's why I go live, to answer your personal question rather than you guys searching through the YouTube channel finding videos and all sorts. So hopefully you've had a good weekend so far. So let me just get all my windows set up to make sure we are going out live. That seems fine, and the comment section is here as well. So let's go to this screen. Claire Lewis, I've not seen your name before, so welcome to you. I'm assuming you're new. Sophie Lifestyle, welcome. Aisha, good morning. First time on your live. I watched nearly all your videos. My test is tomorrow. Oh, test is tomorrow. First of all, good luck. First of all, first time here. Welcome. Let's get that out of the way. So I appreciate you watching all the videos. Good luck with it tomorrow. First and foremost. If you got any questions about doubts, concerns for tomorrow, type in the comment section. You've come at the right time. Let me answer those questions. Put your mind at ease so you go in there nice and confident. But come back next week. Let us know how you got on as well with that. But I repeat, if you've got any questions, Asia, just type it in. Let's get you sorted out for tomorrow. But good luck with it. Good morning to you. Welcome. Liddy Berry, not seen your name before, I don't think, so welcome to you. Again, your test is tomorrow as well. Wow, got lots of tomorrows. Yeah, type your comments in the section. But if it's a question, Q semicolon makes it easy for me to find, and I can address it nice and early rather than later on through the live sessions. Let me tackle them now if they come up. Pass my test on. First of all, welcome. Not seen your name before, so welcome to you. Passed my test on Friday and 1 seat. I'm assuming that's mean first time. So congratulations on passing, by the way. I'm glad it helped. But congratulations on passing. So what's your next step? Are you looking to take driving lessons or take a driving test? Becky, good morning to you. Francis, how are you? Long time? You need to get on with your driving, by the way. How are you getting on with the driving? Because you passed it for a little while ago now, so how are you getting on? Hopefully it's helped you enough to get that pass tomorrow. Just remember, take your time, break it down in the test center as well, because the questions will be worded slightly differently. So take your time tomorrow. Tomorrow, break it down. Nice and simple. Look for the clues, which I'll demonstrate as we go through the session today. If any question comes up like that. Samuel, good morning to you. Good morning. And welcome. Good morning. Constance, I've not seen your name before, so I'm assuming you're new. Welcome to you. Samuel, second time. Glad you came back. Oh, well done to you. So you've booked it now, July the 3rd. It seems far away, but trust me, that will fly, because really after next week we're mid-March and that's going to fly. Hopefully you're taking lessons to keep everything nice and fresh by the time July the 3rd comes up. Francis, when that comes, come back and let me know how you got on, because like I said, you're part of the regional study camp. So I wanted to know that you guys have gone on to get your license as well, not just your theory test. Good morning to you and welcome. Good morning. This was my first live as well, so definitely welcome to you. Appreciate that. Hopefully it is really informative and encourage you to book a test if you haven't got one booked already. Because some of you are just coming to the lives, studying, not booking your test because you're scared, nervous. That's natural. Get your test booked because you need to be passing this stuff, especially while it's fresh. Good morning to you, SJ Dancing. Again, another first time here. Welcome, Michaela Marshall, or Michaela Marshall. Welcome. Even though I butchered your name, but welcome. My test is this weekend. Again, you got a test at the weekend. Ask questions. Don't be afraid. Did my test last Tuesday. Didn't pass. Scored 36 out of 50. Had percentage 39.75. I wanted to test my knowledge. I'm happy I did. Booked again, 31st of March. So you went in there knowing you had the little knowledge. I don't advise anyone going for a test with little knowledge. You want to study and be as confident as you can. There's no guarantee you're going to pass if you're confident and do whatever it is. But the thing is, you've done it. And you've got data. And based on the scores, 36 out of 50, that's a lack of knowledge. But you said you already knew that. So that's nothing new. But you got the data of the categories that you struggled with on there. But if someone's... Because you said you got little knowledge, I don't know if that's lack of studying or whatever it is. But if someone comes to me and said they got 36 out of 50 taking the test, I'll send them back to square one. And what I mean by that, you need to do each category individually because that's a lot of lack of knowledge. That's 14 questions wrong. If that's 14 questions, there's going to be at least 8 or 9 categories you've got questions wrong in, and that's over half the categories because there's 14 of them. I would go back to basics, do each category in turn, and then start to step it up for mock tests. But you already booked another one for 31st of March. Monday's the 9th. We're talking about the 16th, 23rd, 30th. That's 3 weeks. It's doable. It all depends on your lifestyle, how much time you got in that time. And once you've done that, you need to get the hazard perception up as well. You've got 39 out of 75. So that's again, you got the data there. It tells you how much zeros, ones, and twos that you've got. I would be looking at the zeros and ones, but that tells me you don't know what hazard is. Because if you knew what hazard is, you wouldn't get 49. So that's the lack of knowledge with the questions, but you already knew that. And the hazard perception, you need to know what a hazard is so you know when to click. That's what that is. And you booked it for the 31st of March. My advice is study. If you're not passing the mock test leading up to that, I'd push it back. Keep an eye on the cancellation date. It's 3 working days before the 31st of March that you can push it back without losing your test fee. But I wish you luck with that the next time around. Again, if you've got any questions, because you've taken it now, and you've got an idea about the questions are worded, type it in the comment section. Good morning to Judith, second time here. Glad you came back, first of all. I have learned to break questions and think what I could do in this situation, but I'm looking for the answer. Yes, that's the right way. But rather than looking what you could do, you want to look for the safest thing you can do. There's a difference because sometimes 2 answers says you can do both, but obviously looking for the safest option out of the 2. So don't miss that bit. It's not what you could do, it's what's the safest thing for you to do in that given situation. But at least you've got the right mindset of thinking about it. I want to say thank you, first of all, Jody Barnes. I've definitely not seen your name before. So welcome. I want to say thank you for your videos. Yesterday, Saturday, age 33. You make it sound like it's old. 33. Trust me, I'm teaching a lot of 30s and 40-year-olds to drive. Life has changed, so they need a license. Past 48 out of 50, missed a magical 50 by 2. So congratulations on passing and getting a high score as well. 60 out of 75 hazard perception. Well done to you. Thank you for coming to the live and letting me know that you passed as well. It's an inspiration to other people as well by doing that. So thank you for that. Appreciate it. And what are you doing next? Driving lessons now, or at 33, or driving test? Okay. Ollie, you can answer that. So if you think your scores improved drastically, but just because your scores improving, it doesn't mean to say you're understanding it. Be very careful, because some of you thinking because you're getting high scores on your mocks that you're ready. There's a difference between getting high scores. That's because you're doing reps on the apps. The same questions come up. You know what the answer is. You got to understand the question. That's the difference, and understand the answer. You'd be surprised how many people come to me passing mock test after mock test, and when they go for the real test, they fail drastically. Just because you're passing mock test, it doesn't mean to say you're ready. If you understand why the answer's what it is, then you're ready. There's a subtle difference. All right, Rachel, good morning to you. All right, let me do the overview first, and then we'll crack on. And I'll keep an eye on the comments section. I've not seen your name before, so welcome. I'll do that at the end. Unfortunately, we do that at the end, just like how the real test is. We do the mock test first, 20 questions, and then we do the has perception at the end. If you can't stick around to the end, watch the replay. Any of the lives, because I do them on the regular on the lives now. So any of the lives. Diego, good morning to you. Hopefully you're well. Always been here. Just commenting and breaking the silence. Well, I appreciate the comments. And thank you for your kind words. I appreciate it. Again, welcome. Not seen your name before, so welcome to you. My test is on the 11th. The 11th is this week, isn't it? 9th, 10th, 11th, Wednesday. So I wish you luck with that first and foremost. I found you for just go. I got my first 250s out of 50s on the mock test yesterday. Brilliant. But like I said, just make sure you're understanding it, because when the questions are repeated on a regular basis, you tend to know what the answer is. So it's about make sure you're understanding it. All right, let me do the overview first. I'm still scared to book mine because I've not had series of live videos. I don't know what that means when you said I have not had series of live videos. You're always going to be scared to take a test. That's natural. Being scared and not booking it, that's something different. Always going to be scared. Sorry, let me just do the overview, because I can give you your comments all day long, to be fair. So I just want this one. Thank you, helped me a lot. I've introduced my friends to your app. Well, thank you for the introduction. I appreciate that. You guys sharing the channel, because it's growing and growing, even though I'm not adding videos on there, just the live sessions. I will try to get back to recording more videos. My name is Otter. So Otter, welcome. I scored 46 out of 50. Enhanced perception scored 58. So you passed your theory test. Congratulations on passing. My next step is taking my driving practical test. Okay, brilliant. Do you stay anywhere close enough from? So Northampton's not far from me, but I'm not near Northampton. It's literally up the motorway from me. I think it's a couple of junctions. I'm Luton, but I actually work in North London, but I'm going to say something about it in a minute. All right, let me do this overview, because that's why you guys are here. First of all, let's get rid of this. Right, for questions, the test itself is multiple choice. 50 questions. The questions are random. So if there's 10 of you in the room, all 10 of you getting different questions. It's not a set of 50 that everybody gets. So if your friend took it yesterday, you can't ask, well, you can ask them what questions they got, but it won't be the same for you. So it's random. That's why I keep saying, Do the categories individually, because you don't know how your 50 questions are going to be made up, where one person gets 5 road signs, another person may just get 2. The questions are worded different from the app. Again, some of you think the questions are the same on the app as it is in the real test. It isn't. The questions on the app are sampled questions. That's the questions the DVSA released to licensed apps and licensed trainers like myself to give out to you guys, so you get a sample of what the questions are. They will be worded slightly differently, and there may be questions that you have never ever seen before, because they do not give you all the questions. The apps are 774 questions, and on their database they've got about 1,500 to 2,000 questions to choose from. And like I said, they don't give you all the questions, it's just sampled questions. Time, you have 57 minutes, which is more than enough time to break it down. Look for clues in the question, look for clues in the answers and the images as well. Some of you are skipping over that. Some of you are still doing the test in 20-25 minutes and failing. It's very difficult to do a test in 20-25 minutes. I'm talking about the real test in 20-25 minutes and get a positive outcome, because you should be breaking it down, looking for clues and trying to fully understand what they're asking for in that given question. Once you've done that, you move on to hazard perception, which is 14 videos. 13 of them have single hazards. When I say single, score 5 on that particular hazard, on that particular video, and one of them's got a double hazard, 2 5s, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about. I will do a demonstration at the end to show you what a hazard is and how to click to kind of beat the system. When you are answering the questions, you want to use a bit of common sense. But like I said, some of you are literally skim reading and missing the obvious. Use a bit of common sense, because some of the questions can be answered with no driving experience, just common sense thrown in. And if something comes up on here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. But generally, you're looking for safety outcome. The driving test itself is about safety and control. The theory test is the same. They want a safe outcome or a controlled outcome with that. So that's how you want to be answering your questions. Common sense, look for safety, look for control. Control answers are normally your motorway and first aid type of things. If you do struggle with your theory, I do run a 30-day study camp where you join, and you can join the live sessions that I do Monday to Thursday. And we do a live review session on a Wednesday and at the weekend, where I can tap into your results, the way you answer them, and show you where you're going wrong, strengths, and put a plan together for you. I will say I am going to be shutting this down in April at some point for good, because I'm changing the way I'm teaching stuff, and I'm going to be relocating to Luton, not staying in North London. I'm going to actually start to teach in my own hometown of Luton. And because of changing the way I'm going to teach, I am going to be shutting down the study camp. The students that's already in there will still get my help until all of them pass. But once April comes in, probably about mid-April, I will not be taking on any more students. I'll just be doing the YouTube lives and doing videos on a 2-week basis. But I'm going to be shutting down the study camp. So if you do need help, the time to get in is now, because once it's shut down, it will be shutting down. It will be not opening up to any other students. So those of you as well looking for driving lessons in the Luton area, because I teach intensive driving courses, which is 1 student for the whole week. I'm now going to go back to hourly lessons, because the government or the DVSA, so the governments, are changing the way lessons are going to be done. They're doing a consultation, but I know it's going to change, and they're going to try to probably bring that in late summer, early autumn. And what I mean by that, they are saying there's a consultation going at the moment. This is what I'm saying: get your theory done now and start your driving lessons now, because what they're saying is that you have to do a minimum of X amount of hours. They haven't said what the minimum is. At the moment now, you can literally do driving lessons, ready, book your driving test, move on with your life. What they're saying is you're going to have to do a minimum of X amount of hours. They haven't mentioned what those hours are. And then there's going to be a waiting time from passing your theory test and booking a driving test. So it's going to be a minimum set of hours for driving, and then it's going to be a minimum time wait before you can book a driving test. At the moment now, you can literally pass your theory test tomorrow, book a driving test tomorrow. They're not going to do that anymore. So they're going to change that. So that's going to kill the intensive driving industry as far as I'm concerned. So I'm getting out of that now and changing the way I am teaching. So I'm going to go back to doing hourly lessons. I've just got to finalize a few things over the next week, and hopefully I'll be teaching in Luton at some point during the April months, April, May, hence why I'm shutting down the study camp at this point in time. So that's why I'm encouraging you guys to book your theory test, get on with your driving lessons before these rules come in, because you're going to have to wait a certain amount of time and it's not going to be pleasant for you guys. Not to mention you have to do a minimum amount of hours. At this point in time, once you're ready, you're ready. But if they're saying you have to do it X amount of hours before you can book a test, it's going to cost you more in the long run as well. So be warned. Right, I passed on Friday. First of all, welcome. I've not seen your name before, so welcome to you. Passed on Friday. I watched 2 of your videos before writing my test. That should be. I got 44 and 57. So congratulations on passing. Appreciate you coming to the live and let me know. This is my first time. So welcome to you, first time joining. I'm writing my test in a couple of days. I believe I will pass. Confidence is good. I'll be overconfident though, but confidence is good. I like that. You don't have to have driven to take a theory test, but it does help because you can place yourself. When a certain question comes about driving, you can place yourself in the driving seat because you've been there. But like I said, I've got lots of students who pass without taking driving lessons. But I do recommend this is for all of you, try and take driving lessons alongside your theory. It does help, and it speeds up the process because obviously you're further down the line. Once you pass your theory test, you've already got X amount of hours under your belt, rather than having to pass your theory test, then find an instructor, take the lessons, and then get ready for your test. So it does save a bit of time in the long run. Especially at this point in time, once the rules come in from the government, or the DVSA, that will change. Don Pedro, good morning. I've not seen your name, so welcome, first of all. I'm assuming you mean 5th of March and you got one booked off for the 19th. 42, that's 8 questions wrong. That's 5 categories, give or take. Just brush up on the categories. The hazard perception is fine. You've nailed the hazard perception. It's very rare it goes down once you get a score like that, so you understand what hazards are. So I would focus on the categories you got wrong on that. So it's about 42, 8 questions wrong. It's about 5 categories, give or take. So I'd restudy those categories. So like I said, you got data. That's why you shouldn't be scared of taking the test, because either way, if you pass it, you move on with your life. If you don't, you've got data what to improve on. Congratulations on passing. 46 out of 50. Practical lessons are next. Well, wish you luck with the lessons. And well done for passing. And thank you for coming to the live and let me know. All right, let's set up the questions. So those of you that are new, the way we do this is read the question first. How much can stopping distance increase in icy conditions? This is A. This is B. So A and B is on the top line. C and D's on the bottom line. So if you think it's A, please put the question number, which is 1 on this occasion, 1A in your comment. Reason why? Because there's a delay between me and YouTube and you and YouTube. So I want to make sure we're always on the same question number. And if you take the time to type it, I like to take the time to show it. So I can't show if the question number is not there because I don't know if it's related to what we're in. So 1A in the comment section. If you've got a question about the question, don't be afraid to put the question in the comments as well. I can't go back to the question, so you want to ask the question about the question or want it explained, put in the comment section so I can see it before I move on with it. Um, yeah, when you go for the real test, there's no cursor. There's just the mouse. Literally the mouse. You just sit back and click. Yeah, sorry, you just sit back and click. There's no cursor. Just sit back. It's like if you're doing it on your phone or doing it on your tablet, you just tap the screen. You don't tap the hazard. So there's nothing to be watching. You see the problem. Tap on the screen when you're doing it on your app or on your tablet or on your phone. So when you go for the real test, you just sit back and click the mouse. No cursor. So as soon as you see the issue, you click, count 1, 2, and then click again. But I will show you and demonstrate that. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Leicester are coming. The questions are very different. I think he used AI questions. I don't know what to say to that because that doesn't make sense to me when you say Leicester are coming. If you want to shed some more light on that, I can comment on that. Yeah, I'm looking to either do crash course, intensive course. Crash is not the best words to use. Intensive course lessons or instructor. What would you recommend, please? I can't. Everybody's different. I would definitely, if you think about doing intensive courses, I'll definitely get some lessons first because intensive courses isn't for everybody. It's intense. It's a lot of information. The amount of students that turn up to my courses and can't take the pressure, basically. So I would do a few lessons first to make sure driving is for you because driving isn't for everybody. And what I mean by driving isn't for everybody, it's not natural for everybody. If you find it difficult, intensive courses isn't for you. If you find that it's kind of all right, then maybe think about intensive courses. But I personally, even though I teach it, I wouldn't recommend coming to intensive course without driving experience because it is a lot of information coming thick and fast at you. Hence why it's called intense. I'm doing all the questions right, but I'm scared a little bit as I'm Polish and might not understand one word. Just because you're reading the highway code doesn't mean to say the highway code is the rules of the road for everybody, whether you walk, cycle, horse ride, car driver. The highway code is laws. Yes, you can use it alongside the questions, but be very careful because it's very wordy. If you don't understand a word because of your language, it's not a problem. Type the words into AI and ask for the Polish equivalent, and that gives you a better understanding. What you guys are failing to understand when you study at home, you forget you got tools, you got Google, you got Chat GPT, you got Claude, any AI, you can use the AI for free. So any words you don't understand, especially if you're, like I said, English is not your first language, type the word in or the phrase or the question and ask them to reword it in your language and you'll get it. So you'll understand it from your language point of view. So that will help you as well. You're doing the right things and saying the right things, but just be very careful. Because like I said, the highway code is the rule, it's the laws of the road. It's not necessarily what the theory test is looking for. So let me just find the ones and I'll come back to your comments. There's lots of them. Right, you guys are all going for C, so I've got to assume C is correct. C. What's the question? Snow and ice is 10 times longer is correct. Ooh. At an incident, someone is suffering from severe burns. It says, how could you? I don't know why the use cut off. How could you help them is the question. I repeat, at an incident, someone is suffering from severe burns. Let me see if I can change this. Hold on 1 second. There you go. At an incident, someone is suffering from severe burns. How could you help them? Good morning. So you're not seeing your name before, so welcome. Good morning to you. Please, can you tell us bike theory? I don't do bike theory, I'm a car driver. If you want about the bike theory, if you download the 4-in-1 app, go to the settings and change the questions to bikes. And then the questions will be in there. So I repeat, download the 4-in-1 and make sure it's the paid version. 4-in-1, go to the settings and change it to bike questions, and you'll have the questions in there for the bike. I wish you luck with that. I've not seen your name before, so welcome. First of all, passed my theory test in December. I want to start my practical lessons, but I do not know how to start. Start with family and friends. If you've got any family and friends taking driving lessons, ask them to recommend their instructor. That's the best way, because tried and tested. If that doesn't work, then you want to jump onto Google, type in driving schools near me, or jump on onto the DVSA website. They've got a list of numbers of instructors who share their numbers in your area as well. So that's the best way to do it. But my first advice is family members and friends, because it's tried and tested. Google, you can you can read the reviews on there. Failing that, go to the DVSA website. That's the best way to start. Goodness, I took my test on the 3rd of March. 42 out of 50, 58. Hazard perceptions fine, 42, 8 questions wrong, 5 categories. Restudied the categories, at least you got data there. That tells you roughly where you're going wrong for now. I failed and I want to retake it. How long would retake it? It's 3 working days. So if you took it on the 3rd of March, we're now the 8th, you're good to go. Again, but it's free work for anyone who's taken a further theory test. You can book it straight away. It just won't allow you to take it within the 3 working days. So the answer to your question is 3 working days, and you've passed that with us being on the 8th of March. My test is tomorrow. First of all, I've not seen your name, so welcome. I've got to welcome you guys because I appreciate you guys being here. Nerves, like I keep saying, nerves is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Just don't let the nerves control you. It's life. It's natural. Just don't let the nerves control you. If you wasn't nervous, I would be nervous and worried, because it means it doesn't mean anything to you. I had the people for not theory test, for a driving test on, when did he pass his test? Friday. Philip had his test on Friday. He was literally shaking. He was actually shaking after the test as well. But I had a word with him. Boom. You know what you're doing. You know what you need to do. Don't take risks, blah, blah, blah. Nerves isn't a good thing. He didn't let the nerves control him. Stalled it a couple of times, but outside of that, he was fine. Passed with 3 minors. But nerves is a good thing. The adrenaline's pumping. It keeps you focused. Just don't let the nerves control you, which is the most important thing. Because once it starts to control you, then the brain just starts to do all sorts. So I'm going to... Has anyone actually taken a test, not necessarily the theory test, I'm talking about tests, school exams, and not be nervous? Because I know every test I've taken, I have been nervous. Even when I get check tested as a driving instructor, I've been doing it for 30 years, I still get nervous. and I'm a lot older than all of you lot as well. So I've got more life experience, and I still get nervous on my test. So I'm just trying to find the twos. There's lots of you here, 90 odd, and we're not even half. Oh, you've just gone past 10:30. So I appreciate you guys getting up your Sundays. All right, here we go. Here's the first one. Right, some of you are not putting the letters in, so the number in, you just put in the letter. I don't know if it's related to this first one or the second, or the question we did before. Please, like Marcel has here, put the number, the question number, and then the letter of choice. Got a B here. Dry is 2-second gap. Drive, let me break it down even more. Doing 40 miles an hour or more is a 2-second gap if it's dry. If it's wet, it's double, or 4 seconds. They can wet it either way. And if it's ice and snow, it's up to 10 times longer. If it's 30 miles an hour or less, you drive to what we call the conditions. Leave a safe gap. Yeah, always nervous for all tests. All right, C is what you guys are going for. Someone went for B. It's a burn. Let me break this down. An incident, someone is suffering from severe burns. How could you help them? You do not apply lotions to burns. And just in case you don't know, this is an old-fashioned word they still use in the real test. Douse is pour water. If cold water or cool water in this situation isn't there on the real test, you're looking for non-toxic fluid. They use that term on the real test. I repeat, non-toxic fluid is cold water without chemicals. So if you don't see cool water on there or cold water, look for non-toxic fluid. But douse is just pour water on the burn, but you do not apply lotion to burns. What does this sign mean? Always look at the image, because sometimes in the image it's got clues. What you guys tend to do is read that, have a quick glance at the image, and then go looking for the answer. Sometimes there's clues in the image, so have a good scan of it. All right, let's catch up with these comments. Passed my test last week. First of all, I've not seen your name before, so welcome. Passed your test 45 out of 50, 53, something like that. Thank you for wishing everybody the best for Paren, and congratulations on passing. Thank you for coming to the live and let me know that you did that. That's just love. Good morning to you. How are you? Hopefully you're well. Good morning, Susan. I've not seen you before, I don't think. So good morning to you. Hopefully you are well as well. Again, Favor. I've not seen your name before. Pass your test 45. 61 sense perception. Appreciate the words. I just give the information. You got to apply the info, so you did the work in terms of passing it. So well done. Congratulations. I've not seen your name before, so welcome to you. Before which I didn't understand. Have you booked a test? That's the most important thing. Have you booked a test so you can get this passed? But I'm glad the videos help you to break it down even more. Hello to you. Welcome. Brilliant. At least you're passing it. 2 to 3 clicks is fine. As long as you're clicking on things that exist, it won't add up to too many clicks. I just go for the 2 clicks. But if you watch some of my Hazard Perception videos, there's times when I think I've messed up and I will just add another click to make sure. It's about getting a score. It's not necessarily about seeing the hazard, just get enough scores to add up to 44. So doing a 3-click method is fine as well. There's nothing wrong with that. What are we on 3? No problem, you're welcome. That's why we're here. Break things down to make it even easier if it helps. Anthony, I've not seen you before. Ace Ferry yesterday. Thanks for the content. No problem, you're welcome. Thanks for coming to the live and let me know. Short and brief. Hello to you. Welcome. Blessings. How are you? Month end of March, I'm assuming. Yeah, well done to you for booking it. How do you feel now? I bet you still feel nervous now and kind of apprehensive about it, because now you've got a date, you've got something to work towards. It's concrete. But when I say concrete, it doesn't mean to say you can't move it back if you still feel like you're not ready for it when the time comes. Grandpapa Foxy, not seen you before, so definitely welcome. Greetings from London. What part of London are you in? Climax Cow, hello at the very test. Welcome, first of all. At the London 48, missed it by 2. 55. No problem. Thank you for coming to the live and let me know how you got on. 3A. That sounds good. I'll be honest with you. I remember, I think there's a video I've done last year and I got this question wrong. I always struggled with this question as well. Considering I teach this stuff, I actually struggle with this question until I done that video and I had to relearn why the answer is always fully on the verge. I think I've always parked on the left. I think I put the answer as. So even I struggle with some of the questions, especially when I don't see it on a regular. What's the reason for traffic calming measures? What's the reason for traffic calming measures? Good morning, Kellis. I recommend the 4-in-1, so you're using that. It is an app for the phone and tablet. It's not a app for the Mac or desktop. I'm actually using the 4-in-1 on the desktop, but that's the instructor version. It's a subscription version as well as monthly. I pay for it for the year because obviously it's part of my business. So if you wanted it, you need to go to their website and pay for it. You can pay for it on a monthly basis, I think. I'm not too sure what the price is monthly because obviously, like I said, I'll do it for a year. It's not that expensive. I just renewed mine. I can't remember what I paid for mine for the year, but it wasn't that expensive. So if you want it on your MacBook, then you need to go to their website and download the desktop version. When I say download, pay for it. But the app is literally for the phones and tablets. But I repeat, that's what I'm actually using, the 4-in-1 app for this live session. How do I join the 30-day study camp? The link is in the description. Yeah, the link is in the description. But I repeat, that will be shutting down mid-April probably. I know tomorrow or next week, roughly the time scale that I will be moving my stuff from North London to Luton. And once I know that, then I'll put a date on it, but it will be shutting down at some point in April. But yeah, the link is in the description. Good morning to you. I've not seen your name before, so welcome. Every Sunday. But you haven't commented though. This is the first time, 'cause I've not seen your name before, or have I missed it? Thanks for commenting and let me know that you are here. Test is on Friday. Well, wish you luck with it on Friday. If you've got any questions before we sign out, type it in. Let's get you more confident, remove any doubts that you may have. But good luck with it Friday. Come back next Sunday and let us know how you got on. What are we on? 4. West Dulwich. When I used to live in South London, I used to live in Peckham, so it wasn't a million miles from Dulwich. Dulwich is actually a nice area. Don't know if it's still there now because it's been 6 years, 7 years. But yeah, I actually like Dulwich or Dulwich. Good morning to you. Welcome, new. If you've got any questions, type it in the comment section. That's why I'm live, to answer your questions. So you guys look like you're going for hey, good morning to you. I've not seen your name before, so welcome. To stop road rage. Is that the answer you've put to the question? Traffic calming is not to stop road rage. Yeah, I wish you luck with it. I wish you luck. I'm studying on various apps. Not a bad thing to do. So the questions are worded slightly different on each app. That's what the apps are now doing, just changing the question slightly. But it's the same standard, 774 questions. With 10th of March, that's actually the next... That's Tuesday. Yeah, I definitely wish you luck with that. Please come back next Sunday and let us know. Again, if you've got any questions, let's get you sorted out for Tuesday. You're welcome. Why? It's a question I would ask with that one. First time commenting, yeah. All right, 4A, to slow traffic down. So it's not for road rage, it's to slow traffic down. So like in the school area, school children, slow traffic down. Just in case you didn't know, traffic calming measures is like speed hump. There's 3 types, by the way. There's speed humps, width restrictions, where the space is narrow, you got to slow down to drive through the barriers kind of thing, and what they call chicanes. So just on the real test, they talk about these 3. So it's speed humps, chicanes, and width restrictions are traffic calming measures. They are to slow traffic down, especially like in a school area type zone, but not to stop road rage. What will happen if your car wheels are unbalanced? Let's catch up with some of these comments. Good morning, did my first test for the first time, 26th of last month, February. And you passed. Congratulations on passing. I've not seen your name before, so you're new here as well. So thank you for coming to the live and let me know if you're still here. 45 out of 50. Multiple choice. 66. That's a high score. Well done to you. Has perception, thank you so much. You are welcome. So what are you doing now? Looking for driving lessons? Because you done it last month. So what's driving lessons? Driving test you're looking to book? What's next for you? I failed my theory at Erith Test Centre. Examiners was very rude, saying you're not ready. Can you help me? I failed my theory at Erith Centre. Examiners. That's confusing. Erith Test Centre. The examiners, there's not examiners in there. There's vigilators, but there's not examiners. And why would they say you're not ready? Because they don't know your result. They shouldn't be looking at your result. So I'm not understanding that. Also, do you mean driving test? Driving test has examiners, theory test has vigilators, and they should not be looking at your result. They should be giving you the paperwork face down. And they should not be commenting on your result either. To just clarify what it is, driving test or theory test are you talking about? Hello to you, Francis. Welcome. Ryan, welcome to you. Well, congratulations on passing. 48 out of 50, high score 54, has perception. Well done to you. When you say the theory live practice, what are we talking about? Just clarify when you say theory test live practice, Ryan. Judith, I'm on test 15th of April. Why 15th of April? That's over a month away. Why 15th of April? Is that the only date you could get? Because to me, that's a bit far away. 5. Just let me know why 15th of April. Got a B here. Good morning to you. Eighteenth. So that's week after next, hopefully, and you feel ready. If you feel ready, that's brilliant. Just keep practicing. Just don't overdo it, because you can overdo it too much on approach to the test. So I'll just keep studying just to make sure everything's on point. But I wish you luck with that. Based on the questions, what are the measures for calming the road traffic? I've explained that. Speed humps with restrictions and chicanes. Right, so you guys are going for C. This Asia said, could you explain please why will steering vibrate with unbalances? Let me just see what the answer is first. What will happen if the car's with unbalanced? Steering wheel pulled to one side is tracking. That's not true. It's going to vibrate. The brakes won't fail. The wheels are unbalanced. It's what I call driving with a limp. That's how I explain it in the theory classes. It's driving with a limp. The front wheels aren't balanced, as in not straight. Let me try to show you on screen. Hold on, let me come out of this. So you've got what we call an axle, and it's supposed to be straight. So you've got the front wheels at the front, and it's supposed to be straight, flat. So when it drives, it's even. It's unbalanced, so one side's higher than the other. The common reasons for that is because people drive over speed humps too fast, potholes too fast, or they'll drive up the curb to park. So when you're going up the curb, this wheel's higher than that one. If you do it enough times, it stays like that. So when you're driving, it's unbalanced, and that's why you get the vibration, because the steering wheel's connected to the front wheels. So when you're driving, it's unbalanced. It needs to be straight. It's like you got a damaged ankle, for example, you limp. It's the same thing, because if your ankle is swollen, they're not the same. So that's why you limp. So hopefully that makes sense. That's the way I explain it anyway in the classes. Driving with a limp. What does this sign mean? Judy says it's 15th. I've done that one. Everyone's different. I can't answer that. It's personal. Starting to prepare for my ferry. What's the recommended time to book? Book when you feel like you're ready. I can't answer because, like I said, everybody's different. There's no one size fits all. I do say though, the 30 days is a sweet spot. You should be looking to take your test within 30 days. But like I said, everybody's different because different lifestyles. If you're too busy to study on a regular, then it's going to take you a little bit longer. And the reason why I say 30 days is a sweet spot, if you're studying on a regular basis, you're going to exhaust the questions. It just becomes repeated, repetitive, and then it becomes a memorizing exercise rather than an understanding exercise. So 30 days is a sweet spot to take a ferry test. But I do repeat, everybody is different because everybody's got different lifestyles. If you can't commit to studying on a regular basis, it may take you longer than the 30 days. But that's a personal thing. Book it when you feel like you're ready. And only you're going to know that. Gillian, I've not seen your name before, I don't think, so welcome. Thank you, appreciate that. Congratulations on passing. Marcel, good morning to you. I've not seen your name before, so welcome. Congratulations on passing within 2 weeks of watching the channel as well. 48, missed it by 2, the magical 50, 58 has perception. You are welcome. Thank you for coming to the live and let me know. I appreciate it. My test is on the 17th. I'm a bit confident. That's nice. And again, that's week after next as well. So again, you got another live next week. So hopefully you come back. If you've got any questions, type it in the comment section. But I wish you luck with that as well. Get rid of this. Why this is popping up. Please could you explain the number 1? I have not seen it before because it does not snow in my country. Oh, that was the snow and ice. I'll say it again. Driving 40 miles an hour or more. If it's dry, it's a 2-second gap. If it's wet, it's double or 4 seconds. Ice and snow is up to 10 times longer. 30 miles an hour or less, you drive to the conditions or leave a safe gap, depending how they want to word it. Right, let's number 6. I'll add this one in. Passed my ferry test on Monday, 45. Congratulations. I've not seen your name before, so I appreciate you coming to the live. Here's the first one. You guys are going for C. You're welcome. Hello to you. Mayo, first of all, welcome. I keep saying nerves is a natural thing. There's no way on earth you're going to go for a test and not be nervous. If you aren't nervous, it means it doesn't mean anything to you. Nerves is a good thing. The adrenaline, the excitement keeps you focused. I wish you best of luck with that. If you got any, while you're here, if you've got any questions, because your test is next week, Monday week. If you've got any questions, type it in. Let's get these nerves down a little bit. It won't go away. We can reduce it. This is motorway, end of motorway. It's crossed out. No red line, it's motorway. Line for it, end of motorway. What can be damaged if you turn the steering wheel when the car is not moving? Luchi, good morning. I've never seen your name before, so welcome. $46 out of 50, 54. It's 26th of February. Thank you for the blessing. Appreciate that. Whoever recommended the channel, you thank them on my behalf, because I appreciate you guys sharing the channel, because like I said, it's growing and I'm just doing the lives at the moment, not putting out videos. So I appreciate you guys recommending it, because it is growing to reach more people, to help more people. That's what it's for, to help as many people as is possible to pass their theory. So you're right. So you're doing what I spoke about. If there's new words, there's new words. It's not really going to change the structure of the question. The point is you understanding the question, not just understanding the words. If you understand the general structure of the question, if they word it slightly different, the understanding is going to be there. And I use this example. I've done it in the lives before. When I teach in the car, with the same way I teach theory, I teach in the car. Very simple, very basic. And I say to my students, I teach 2 + 2 = 4. If they want to do something slightly different to what I've said and showed them, and it still adds up to 3 + 1, it's the same outcome. So just because they change a word, it doesn't mean they're going to change the answer. So as long as you understand the structure of the question, changing a few words is still going to be the same answer, same outcome. So don't stress over it. It's about understanding what they are asking from the question, and you understand why the answer is correct. Because now if they substitute the words in the questions and the answers, it's the same outcome. It doesn't change. That's what you guys have got to understand. That's why I keep saying understand the question first and foremost, and then understand the answer. When they change the words and substitute words, it doesn't make a difference. It's the same outcome. Still leads to safety. Is that Aidan Roberts? I've not seen your name before, so welcome first and foremost. But old motorbike guy here. Oh, right, okay. 50 out of 50. Well done to you. Nailed it. And 63 has perception. That's brilliant. Well done. And thank you for coming back. And let me know when you said old motorbike guy. Yeah, well done to you. 50 out of 50. That's not easy. What are we on? 7. Let's find the 7s. People parked on curbs in the street, can this affect the wheel balance? Yes, because like I said, you're going up. The wheel, think about it, we drive on the left, so we park on the left. That's how you're supposed to be. The left wheel's going up, the right wheel stays down. I'm not saying if you do it once or twice, it's going to affect, but if you do it enough times, it can affect the balance of the wheels. Driving over speed humps too quick, driving over potholes can affect it over time. I repeat, not once or twice, but enough times it will can damage it. So if you're going to go up a curb to park, go up slowly, very slowly. So you guys are going to see. Yeah. You look for the connection. This is what I'm saying. Look for clues. Look for the connection. Steering wheel. What's that connected to? The tires. This is what we call dry steering. What can be damaged if you turn the steering wheel when the car is not moving? That's what we call dry steering, turning the wheel when the car is not moving. Some instructors teach that. I'm not a big fan of it. So when you do your reversing, what we call maneuvers, when you do your parallel park, your bay park, you technically want the car moving while you turn the wheels, there's less damage on the tyres. That's also a legal requirement question. What's the legal requirement for your tyres? 1.6 millimeter tread depth. If you turn the wheel when it's not moving, you can damage your tread. That's why that 1.6 millimeter question is in the theory test, by the way. Your insurer will issue you with an insurance certificate. When must you produce this document for inspection? What's up, blessings? Okay, so you're doing the right thing, because like I said to you last week, go and get it booked, which you've done. So now you've got that date. You now know how to structure your studying to work towards that date. But again, I wish you luck when that date comes round. I'm booking my test this week, feeling really nervous, but I'm going to take the plunge. Yes, take it. And I repeat, when you guys book your tests, even though you may be nervous, once you book it, make sure you take a look at the cancellation date, because 3 working days beforehand. If you feel that you're not ready, you can always push it back without losing your fee. Obviously, if it's within the 3 days, then if you don't turn up, you're going to lose your fee. So there's nothing wrong with moving it, but at least you've got a date. It makes a bigger commitment. I'm glad you're enjoying the channel. Kuda, I've not seen your name before, so welcome. Rude. Welcome to the channel first. And you're starting... Wouldn't you say starting my theory test next month? Do you mean taking it next month, or are you starting to study? You can't start to study next month because you're watching the channel already. So do you mean you're taking it next month? Just clarify. Cosmetic. But I do try to make it easy. I'm glad you're finding it that's coming across that way. And welcome to the channel for the first time. Welcome to the live, sorry, for the first time. Right, we're in 9s. Let's find the 9s. No, we're not 8s. Dyslexia, can't see numbers. Got a C here. Hello and welcome to you. You guys gone for D. So what's the other option? C. Okay. If it's got police, it's law and order. The theory test is, as much as it introduces safety and safety and control, it's a controlled outcome. Police produce your document. That's also another theory test question. A producer, what's a producer? The police can ask you to produce your driver's license, MLT, or insurance certificate. If it's got police officer, out of your 4 options, it's always going to be that, because it's law and order. You don't need to produce your insurance when selling or buying a car, because if you're buying a car, you haven't got insurance anyway, and selling it, you don't need insurance. If you're selling it, you're going to cancel your insurance. Which sign means turn left ahead? That Wasim, I've not seen your name before, 746. I've booked my theory test. I need your help, sir. Thank you. With what? When someone says that to me, I don't know what I'm helping with. questions, has perception, a particular topic. You need to give me a bit more information on that. Theory test is massive. Just saying you need my help doesn't give me any way to go with that information. So tell me what you need help with. And you've booked it already anyway. So I've booked my theory test. I need your help. You've booked it and then asking for my help. You should be asking for my help first before you book it. But yeah, give me clarification what you want help with. Questions, categories, the whole thing has perception. Give me a bit more information on that. I can drive. I have my international driver's license, but correctly in the UK. I'd love to pass the theory test at once, please. I can drive. That means nothing. I'll tell you why. The amount of drivers I've taught over the years with international license, and they're dangerous as hell. I'm not saying you are, but yeah, I turn up, they've got international driver's license, we change seats, and they are totally dangerous. So that means nothing because you've got international driver's license. You write what you're saying there though, but correctly in the UK, you have to drive to the UK standard rather than what your country standard is. There's a difference. But yeah, you have to pass the theory tests to get your UK license. Hopefully you've got the provisional. You can only drive for a year on international license, so your time is ticking. So I don't know how long you've been driving on international license, but you only got a year with an international license. So with the waiting time 4 to 6 months for a driving test, you do need to get on with your theory test. But you're right what you're saying. I like the bit that you put there correctly in the UK. I have my test on Friday. I keep getting confused with colour studs on the motorway. Do you have any tips? Yeah, on the channel there's a motorway studs video. It's about 2 minutes long and it breaks it down what the colours mean. Red is on the left, white's in the middle, amber's on the right. If you go to the word motorway, then when they ask you the questions about studs, let me break that down. When they ask you the question about studs, it's going to be asking you what the colour, where the colour is, or they're going to give you the location and you have to tell them what the colour is. Once you work out the colour or location, you go to the words motorway and then isolate RWA in the word motorway, and that tells you exactly where the colour is. So the R's on the left, the W's in the middle, which would be white, and amber's on the right. But there's a channel on the video. If you type in motorway studs for search on my channel, it will come up with that video and it breaks it down visually with that. Or if you watch last week's live, I actually showed the slides that I use in the camp. So last week's live has got it on there visually as well. But I'll watch the video, it's better. So hopefully that helped you out a little bit. Good morning to you, Alton. 9. I'm assuming you mean luscious of me. I'm assuming you mean 9. You guys going for B? What's this? Maya. Hopefully it does the business for you on Wednesday. Again, if you guys got any questions, please type in the comment section so we can send you into your tests nice and confident. That's why I go live to answer your questions personally. 9B. Yeah, if you break it down, which sign means turn left ahead. Ahead is go straight and left. So like I said, sometimes there's clues in the images. So ahead is straight and it's got left in the answer. So that's why it's B. Even though that was a straightforward one. What does this sign mean? Lots of signs. Road signs. You are welcome. I'm new here. First of all, welcome. I've been watching your videos in the past week. Can you explain the difference between your two courses? One is 30 days. I was 5 days. The difference is 5 days course. It's actually 4-day course, but 5-day course is no longer. I've taken the help from that, so you shouldn't be able to sign up for that. I think I killed all the links on that one. So it's just a 30-day course. But the difference between the two, 5 days is literally done in 5 days. So the live sessions is done over those 5 days. The 30-day camp is 4 days every single week. So you can join at any time you want, as often as you want. The 5-day one is just a one-time session. And then you've got email support plus the video recordings. On the 30-day one, because I'll do the 4-day training every week, and you can join as many times as you want, any days that you want. That works with your schedule. Then you're also registered on the Ferry Test Pro. I've got a Ferry Test Pro account, which allows me to see the time you studied, your test results, and we do a live session on a Wednesday, and we do one at the weekend as well. So we do 2 live review sessions. So if you want feedback on your test results, we do that over Zoom. And like I said, I can go into your account and show you where you went wrong and what you're doing well, give advice, and give you a training plan to work towards your test day. That's the difference between the two. It's comprehensive. Basically, you got me in your corner. You talk to me live on those training sessions. And with the 5-day, like I said, just 1 week session, and that's your lot. So that's the difference between the two. And you've got recordings of all the sessions we do. So all the live review sessions, you can watch the review back just in case you miss anything that I said or didn't understand what I said. And all the week sessions are recorded as well. And you have email support. So hopefully that helps. I gave myself a 5-week window and been driving alongside. Hopefully that'd be enough. It depends what you did in the 5 weeks. As much as you give yourself a 5-week window, it doesn't mean to say the 5 weeks is enough. As long as you're honest with yourself and adjust it. If you feel that you're on course, that's good. If it's not, then you need to adjust. Because like I said, life gets in the way sometimes where you can't do exactly what you want to do. But at least you are setting targets, which is the main thing. Because just studying aimlessly, you keep going. Before you know, it's 2 months, 3 months. And as I said, 30 days is the sweet spot. But be honest with yourself, though. If you don't feel like you're ready, make the window longer. 10. And you guys are going for D. I'm going to come to your questions, so please be patient. D is what you guys are going for, design. P, mile. Yep. You're traveling at the legal speed limit. What should you do if a vehicle behind approaches quickly flashing its headlights? Thank you so much for struggling to understand what's going to happen with, because I don't know. You don't need to know car parts. The only thing you need to know about cars is tyres, like I said, 1.6 millimeters, tread depth, clutch. You do need to know about the clutch, especially if you're doing auto, because there's no gears in automatic, but you do need to know gear questions. I think you're overthinking it, Asia, to be fair. You don't really need to know car parts in detail. You just need to know the safe outcome of the question, if that makes sense. So I just think you're overthinking it. I think you're kind of stressing in that sense. But the only thing that you do need to know that I would go in a bit more detail is coasting and clutch. Because that can be a little bit confusing, especially if you're doing automatic lessons or you want to do automatic. So that's the only thing, but don't overthink it. But if you are worrying about car parts, why don't you type the question here while I'm here? I can help you out and see if it's relevant. I think I've done that one, studs. Please, after the boot camp, are there sessions held over the weekdays? If you're in the boot camp, no. That's what I said. Boot camp is just a one live session, and that's your lot. You can watch the recordings in there and email support. If you're in the study camp, we do the sessions on Wednesdays. There was none this weekend due to family issues, but I'm back on track next week. And we should have one on Wednesday, and we should have a one at the weekend at some point, I believe. But if you're in the study camp, you get regular sessions. But if it's a boot camp, no weekend session, no weekend sessions. Oh, sorry, I read your questions wrong. Please, after the boot camp, other sessions held over the weekdays. The boot camp session, if you're in the boot camp, is a weekday, but it's one session for whatever week you sign up for. If you're in the study camp, it's weekly. Hopefully that makes sense. If it's not and you're part of the camp, send an email into the email that you guys have access to. I can't advise you what to do. The general advice that I give students is if you're young, I will go for manual because you don't know where your life's going to take you. If you're older, probably late 30s, 40s, your life is probably set. And you want to go for automatic, go for automatic. But if you're young, you don't know where your life's going to take you. So you've got access to, when you pass in a manual, you have access to automatic and manuals. When you pass in an automatic, you're stuck with automatic. So if you're young and you get a chance to, I don't know, get a company vehicle, they do manuals, you can't take that job because you haven't got a manual license. That's the reason why, but I can't advise you. I'm biased because I teach manual. And anyone comes to me, I would always say do manual. But to be honest, you have to do what's right for you. If you're unsure, take driving lessons in both and see which one suits you. But if you want my basic advice, you can go for manual because you're covered for both, especially if you're young. So I have my theory test next week and I'm so nervous. As I keep saying, nerves is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Good luck for next week. If you've got a question, type it in the comment section. Let me answer it. But nerves is a good thing. You guys are letting nerves control you. You can't let nerves control you. I'm missing something. I missed a lot. Right, sorry. Lots of 11s passed me by. Let's go back to the beginning. Right, so you guys are going for C. Oh, there's a B here. Am I missing something? I did not read your question. I think I just did read your question. I've put it up on screen. Hi, sir. I have my theory test next week. I'm so nervous. I don't see any other question from you. If you've got another question, that's what I said. If you've got a question, put a Q semicolon. Obviously, you didn't do that. That's why I said it makes it easiest for me the question. Otherwise, it looks like a comment. So if you actually got a question, you're going to have to retype it because I didn't see it. Right, so you guys are going for C. There was a B there, I think, at some point. Allowed the vehicle to pass. The reason being, it could be unmarked police. If they're flashing the lights, they want to get past you. It's unmarked police car. I think it was a B that someone put. Touch the brakes sharply. Once it's got sharp in the answer, it's going to be wrong because it doesn't lead to safety. How will school crossing patrol signal you to stop? Yeah, send it to the email that you got access to. Do not send it to the public email, which is info. Send it to the email because that's for the students only, and I'll address that as soon as I get it. What are you in though, Rachel? Are you in? You're in the study camp though, aren't you? Just clarify, are you in the study camp or the boot camp? Thank you so much. Okay, you're welcome, but I'm assuming you made a comment that didn't ask a question, which I just showed up. D. Right, with this one, they can give you one of two options. This one, by displaying a stop sign, which is the stop sign's upright, or it could be a hand signal on the real test. So if you don't see a stop sign on the real test, then it will be a hand signal, which is a flat palm or a flat back hand. There's been a collision. How can you help a driver who's suffering from shock? Yeah, if it's the boot camp, it's the 1 week session. You're February as well. So if you've lost access to it, send an email because it's 30, you know how Kajabi works. It's 30 days. So send an email in and we can send you an extension to unlock it again. It's not a problem. But yeah, if it's the boot camp, it's a 1 week session. Where the study camp is ongoing. Yeah, but still send an email in and we'll check the login details to make sure you still have access to the recordings. 13A. Yeah, reassure them means talking to them and making sure they know someone's there for them, but don't tell them they're going to be fine or tell them they're going to be okay. You can't give people false hope, but you talk to them so they know that someone's there for them so they're not left to their own thoughts. That's the reason why it's reassure, just in case you didn't know. You're on a long motorway journey. What should you do if you start to feel sleepy? No problem. You're welcome. Like I said, nerves is a good thing. Confidence is a good thing as long as you're not overconfident or complacent. But you don't sound like you are. So again, I wish you luck with that though. Yeah, I appreciate that. But also with it unbalanced, there's clues in the question. That's what I'm trying to say. So when they use tricky words like unbalanced, there's kind of clues like wheels and vibrate and blah, blah, blah. It's just about staying calm and trying to break down the question and see the connection in the answers. That's why I say don't overthink it, because like I said, if they use tricky words, they try to help you out by giving you a connection to the question and the answer. You'd have to be calm enough to work it out. And that's why I say break it down. And that's why you can't do the test in 20, 25 minutes and get a positive outcome. There's clues in it that will help you. You just have to be calm enough to do that. And that's why I said don't let the nerves control you. Shock absorbers are just big springs over each wheels. Again, the way that I explain it in the class is there's 4 massive springs at each wheel. They're called suspension. So when you go over speed humps, potholes, it cushions the blow, so the car's not keeps bouncing. If it keeps bouncing, it means you've got worn shock absorbers. So it just cushions the blow when you go over a speed hump or pothole. And the other thing as well, there's no guarantee you're going to get those questions as well. Remember, they've got 1,500, 2,000 questions. So there's no guarantee you're going to get enough of those to fail you. You just want to make sure if you do get 1 or 2 of those, you know the other 48. First of all, you're new. Welcome. Got a test on the 13th, which is this week. This week at some point. I keep getting confused with coasting and gearbox questions. There's not much. They're visual questions. It's really hard for me to explain that, but they're visual questions. Coasting, basic answers for that. Coasting is a lack of control or lack of engine braking. That's the 2 terms. So if they ask you the question, why is coasting a bad driving technique? It's a lack of engine braking or a lack of control. Gear question, the higher the gear, the slower the car goes, but it's powerful. Let's try again, that's wrong information. The lower the number, the slower the car goes, but it's powerful. The higher the number, the faster the car goes, but it's weaker. So for example, which gear would you move off on ice and snow? Use the highest gear possible because it's weak. If you use the low gear, it's power. You don't want that. But there's videos on the channel. I'm sure I got a coasting video on the channel as well. That's the one to watch where it breaks down in a bit more detail. But most of us are like a visual that I use the slides in the class. Sorry, let me do this. 14. Where are you? 14. Here we go. So most of you, not most of you, all of you seem to be going for A. What's a gearbox? It's where the gear stick is. As simple as that. Literally, you got obviously if it's manual, you got a gear stick where you move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's what they call a gearbox underneath. And if it's a automatic, it's where you go up and down, drive, neutral, R for reverse. It's called a gearbox, gear stick, gearbox. It's literally simple as that. And so some of you are overthinking this. Sorry, what did you guys go for? A. Yeah, again, you got the keyword there, safe. It doesn't always work, but if it's got safe, safety, safely, safer in the answer, you have to consider it as a possible correct answer. I repeat, it doesn't always work, but if it's got the word safe, safely, safer, safety in the answer, you have to think, hold on a minute, is that possibly correct? Because the theory test is about safety and control. What does this sign mean? Okay, that's fine. That's, again, as long as you're starting to understand, but don't overthink the car mechanics, because like I said, there's clues literally in the question and answer to link the two together. But in saying that as well, to be fair to you, you are trying to understand it, which is what I keep saying, understand the question, understand the answer. So you are doing the right thing, but just don't let it stress you out. It's the point I'm trying to make. I've not seen your name before, so again, welcome. 45 out of 50 multiple choice. That's not the reason why you failed. That seems like the reason you failed, but that's not the reason why you failed. I'll tell you why. I've had students get 3, sometimes 4 zeros, but they've got enough 5s and 4s. The reason why you failed based on what you're saying is because you're not sure what a hazard is, hence why you got 43. Because if you got 2 zeros, I scored 0 on 2 videos. Because I got 0 on 2 videos because I clicked multiple times, which means you clicked too many times. So you got a score, but you clicked too many times for that video and it downgraded you to a 0. If you understand what a hazard is, you wouldn't have to click too many times. So it's either you click too many times, which is called spamming for a particular hazard, or you click too many times throughout the video. Either way, you don't know what hazard is, because you wouldn't have to click that many times. And even if it's only on 2 videos, there's still another 12 videos to get enough scores to get 43. So you're struggling with what a hazard is. That's what your concern is. So you've passed that multiple choice, which is good. You still need to brush up on that, because when you go for the next test, it's a different 50 questions and you need to work out what a hazard is so you know when to click. And I'll demonstrate that at the end. But based on your feedback that you're giving me on this, that's what I would go for. Based on your sheet, it would tell you how many 2s, 1s, 3s that you've got, but you didn't get enough to pass, which suggests you don't know what a hazard is. Congratulations on passing 4665 hazard perception. It's amazing. Well done to you for passing. Michael, Emmy, I've not seen you before, definitely. So welcome. Hazard perception 65 as well. Well done to you, and only short time to study as well. Well done, congratulations, and thank you for coming to the live and let me know. Appreciate that. And Asia. Take deep breaths, not only before, during the test. Like I said, the way you're coming across, you're being stressed. I believe, again, this is just because I pick up on words. That's why when I did the study camp, when I did the live review sessions, they have to talk on the review sessions. In the study camp, they don't have to, they don't want to, that's their choice. But when we do the live review sessions, they have to talk because I pick up on certain words. And you're coming across stress. It sounds like your knowledge isn't that far off, but you're just stressing over. And I get it, especially if English isn't your first language. But stress can make you fail as well because you overthink it. Try to calm it down. Literally, calm it down. Take deep breaths throughout the test, not just before. But I wish you luck with it, but just don't stress. Trust that you have the knowledge that's required for you to pass. Have faith in yourself. You are welcome. Have your fairy test on Wednesday. Silent Watcher, welcome, first of all. Thank you for breaking the silence. And I wish you luck with it on Wednesday. Please come back next week, let us know. Again, if you've got any questions before we sign out, ask it. Sorry, ask it. I'm trying to read and talk at the same time. Right, you guys are going for A. This question's always tricky for me, though. It is for most people. Again, another one always confused with this question. Any tips? Yeah, I'll give you a tip in a minute. So in which area the fairy test is not difficult or hard? I'm not answering that question. The fairy test could be difficult. It's different for everybody. Some people struggle with certain topics, some people don't. If you study, it's generally easier across the board, but I can't tell you that because everyone's different. So for example, for me, if I was doing a test, what would be easier for me would be road signs because I'm visual. The words would be hard for me with no pictures. So like I said, everybody's different, so I can't answer that. Please explain this sign. I don't understand. Yeah, like I said, most people struggle with this. What does this sign mean? It's a steep gradient down. So it's A. Now, the way that I'll explain this in the class when I do it, read it like a book. We read from left to right. So as you're reading from the left, if it's going up, it's a steep gradient up. And then you're going away, a steep gradient down. So I'll say it again. You read it like a book because we read from left to right. So if you're reading it and then it's going up, it's a steep gradient up. And as you're going, it's going down, it's a steep gradient down. That's the best way of doing it. I repeat, read from left to right. And that's how you can tell the difference. You want to turn left at this junction. What should you do if your view of the main road is restricted? He didn't even finish the app. I'm passing the 24th of February. Well done to you. Congratulations. And again, I've not seen your name before, so I appreciate you coming to the live and letting me know, letting everyone know that you passed it. Thank you. Appreciate it. There's nothing to explain. Hard shoulders are for emergencies only. There's not really much to explain. It's better off you tell me what you're struggling with, because a hard shoulder is emergencies only for breakdowns. You can only go in there if being directed by signs. There's not much to say about hard shoulders. It's literally just don't drive in it. So it's easier for you to explain what you're struggling with, and I can give you the answer that you may be looking for. But outside of that, hard shoulders, just don't drive in there. For emergencies only. There is a roundabout sign. I don't know what you mean by that. There is a roundabout sign in all roundabout on the road. What is the meaning of a sign on the Fairy Test app? I have no idea what you're talking about. A roundabout sign means roundabout. There's no other meaning behind it. There's a roundabout sign in all roundabout on the road. Can't help you. I don't know what that means. A roundabout means a roundabout. I don't understand what the confusion is. Unless you can shed more light on that, there's not much I can say to that. Unless someone can explain what they're trying to say to me. Oh, it's got an A. Got a B. So it's A, B's and C's. Um, 16C. The common answer. Right, with A, B's and C's. All right, stay well back and wait to see if anything coming. Stay well back, you can't see, so it's not going to be that one. Stop and apply the parking brake even to road clear. You don't have to use parking brake. Parking brake is handbrake, by the way, for those of you not taking driving lessons. Parking brake is American term. Handbrake is the UK term. Approach slowly and edge out until you can see more clearly as possible. Build up speed. That's going to be totally wrong. It's this one. You're driving at night. What should you do if you're dazzled by headlights coming towards you? I think I've done that one. Yellow vlogs. I'm struggling with colours and shapes and how to easily use them to understand the road signs, instructions and orders. Can you help with that, please? I can't. If you're struggling, you need to go back to, again, I've done, there's quite a few road signs videos on my channel. Start with just the colours. Red circles are orders, must not do. 95% of red circles are no's, so it's going to have a no in the answer in 95% of them. Triangles, red triangles are warnings. All red triangles are warnings, and blue circles are what we call mandatory. You must do. Red circles you must not do. Blue circles you must do. Go to the colours first, and then once you understand the colours, then the questions become easier, because if it's got a no in it, it's a red circle. If it's you must do it, then it's a blue circle. If it's warning you or something, roadworks, traffic lights not working, it's going to be a triangle. That's the basic stuff, but like that's on the channel. You have to get your head around the colours and shapes. It's not something I can teach you. You have to understand that from yourself. But that's where the video on the channel will break it down for you on that. Trailer questions, because I get confused with them. There's lots of trailer questions. Again, it's not something I can do on the live. It's what we cover in the class, but it's not something I can do on the live with that, unfortunately, because there's quite a few trailer questions. If there's any particular one that you're struggling with, type it in the comment section. I can help you with that. And again, with some of those trailer questions, I can show you. Well, I can't show you on the live, but in the class we do it visually, because we cover trailers on a Wednesday. You guys are going for D. Blessing Joshua. Congratulations on passing. Done that last week. You need to watch last week's live. There's lots of crossings. It's hard to explain that without the visuals. But like I said, that's an A on here. Done that last week. And again, there's a video on there where I break it down in detail, what colours come next, and the crossing. That's on the channel. It's going to be a lot easier to understand it from the channel. Sorry, you guys have gone for D. Someone went for A. What's A? Flash your mate. Oh, you should be flashing. Once you've got flashing in your answer, it's going to be wrong. Just in case you didn't know, dazzled is being blinded by bright lights. So you should slow down and be prepared to stop with that. So if it's from the front, slow down, be prepared to stop. If it's from the back, you change your mirror to anti-dazzle position would be the answer for the real test. Which sign shows that a tanker is carrying dangerous goods? For example, how to load it, or like what to do when it's shaking on the motorway. Right, to load it, you load the weight across the axle, the wheelbase. So you try to get it evenly across the wheelbase. The common answer is load the heavy stuff in the corners, which is wrong. So you got four, on the trailer you can have 4 wheels or 2 wheels. But either way, you want it across that, what we call across the axle. So it's evenly spread across the wheelbase or the wheel axle. And if it's shaking on the motorway, you come off the gas, so it slows down and it brings it back in line. So if it's what we call snaking on the motorway, you ease off the gas and the car slows down, which means the trailer slows down and it gets back in line to drive straight. That's the 2 answers you're looking for based on that. You're welcome. Oh, you guys are going for B on this. I just realised that Ivan the Great, I've not seen that name before. The avatars with the glasses. How many day YouTube live? Sunday, once a week, 10 to 12. Yeah, you got the explosion here. Like I said, sometimes there's clues in the image. You got the explosive symbol here, hence dangerous. That's why it's B. What will be affected as the road surface becomes soft in very hot weather? Official goal, you're behind. We were on 19. That's the reason why I put the question number, because there's a delay between me and YouTube, you and YouTube. You're obviously behind. We're on number 19, so they're not confusing you. Oh, right, okay. Tell him he's got a good YouTube name and a strong avatar. 19. Okay, Liz, you seem to have a fast internet. You seem to be always the first name out. Once I find your name, I know that's the start of the numbers. Got a fast broadband. Congratulations on passing first time. That's my job as a driving instructor. I need to spot faults. Yeah, again, if you think about road surface, first of all, let me start off with this. Not a lot of people realize when it gets really, really hot, the tarmac becomes soft. So obviously your tires are rubber, so it starts to grip. So you need more power or energy to turn that wheel to go around corners. That's why it's in the theory test, because a lot of people don't realize that. So it says road surface. You got to ask yourself which one of these is connected to the road surface, and it's tires, road surface. That's the link. And as I said, when you guys are nervous and panicking, stuff like that, break the question down and try to find the link between the two. And as I said, road surface, tires grip the road surface, but yeah, rubber sticks to the tarmac, which means you need more gas to get your normal speed, and you need more power to turn the steering wheel to get around corners. Who has priority when traffic lights are out of order? And also with the previous question, there's sometimes questions come up in the test that I get from my students and they don't know why the question's in there because they don't think it's relevant. But like I said, these little things are relevant. You just don't realise that as a driver. Again, you're the first one out. Told you. Once I find your name, I know that's where it starts. You should turn up every week and be my bookmark. So I know exactly where to find the beginning of the numbers. I'm gonna so I was gonna make a bookmark with this official glow. Like I said, you're behind. Obviously, you won't hear this just yet because you're giving at 19 and everybody's on 20. So just that you know, I repeat, that's the reason why I say put the question number and the letter of choice. No problem, that's what we call flagging. Got a D here. All right, 20B. Nobody has priority. There's nobody. D, traffic going straight. What they don't tell you with this, it says who has priority when traffic lights are out of order. That's what we call crossroads. All right, so you got a cross. So if the traffic is going here, they're going straight. And if the traffic's going up and down, they're going straight. That's why it's dangerous. So even though you're saying traffic going straight on, everybody's going straight on. If you look at it from depending what direction you're coming from, that's why it's totally dangerous. That's why it's not that answer. It's nobody's a free for all. So you have to be careful when your traffic lights are not working. All right, so that is the last one. So this is what I was saying at the start of the session. We done a 20 question. Obviously, you're doing 50 when you go for the test. It's made up of 14 different categories. So there's 10 categories here. You will get 14 categories on your test when you do the real one. They have to take it from each category, but on here we got 10. And out of the 10 road and traffic signs, we actually got 6. And that's what I'm trying to say with your category questions. When you study the categories, you don't know how your test is going to be made up. Because where we've got 6 for a 20 question, that means 14 other questions were different. So someone may get 6 in our case here. Someone may just get 2 road signs. And that's the reason why I keep saying make sure you study the categories in turn so your knowledge is strong across the board. Because if my road signs were weak, it's possible I can get 6 questions wrong, which means I'm now down to 44 before I even really get going. I can't afford to make silly mistakes if that's the case. So that's the reason why you study your categories in turn. I really appreciate your explanation on what content. Again, I can't answer that because every car's different and every instructor is different. Some instructors will use older cars. I've had students come from other instructors driving my car. My car's new, as in I'll always change my car every 2 years. So when they're coming to my car, it's new, it's modern, it's up to date, and they feel totally different because they feel when they drove the older car, they was making mistakes because the car was making noise, rattling, blah, blah, blah. I can't answer what car to drive. And plus, even if I said to you, drive in this car, there's no guarantee you're going to find an instructor with that car. You choose an instructor, they turn up. Hopefully the car is of your liking and it suits you. But I can't honestly answer which car to learn in with that, to be fair. And it also depends on what you're doing, automatic or manual. With that, because my car as well has got electronic handbrake, which most students have the normal handbrake, so they have to adapt to my car as well if they've driven someone else's car. So driving's driving, to be fair. Like I said, ideally you don't want to be in an old car, to be fair, but driving's driving. Doesn't really make the pedals, steering wheel's the steering wheel, indicators are indicators. Driving is you when it comes down to it. You're the one making the safe decisions in terms of going, so I wouldn't worry about the car too much. You are welcome. I'm glad you learned a lot. Hopefully you come back next week. Cosmetic, you are welcome. Right, I'm going to do a hazard perception. Again, you're welcome. Welcome. 17th, which is the week after next, right? That's Tuesday week. I wish you luck with that, but come back next week. Again, if it's a manual or auto, I can't advise on that because, like I said, everybody's different. I don't know what your circumstances are with that. I repeat, I said it earlier on in the live. If you're a younger person, I would go for a manual because you don't know where your life's going to take you. The last thing you want to do is pass an automatic. You've got options, job opportunities, but they only give manual car, company cars as a manual. That option is now closed to you. If you're older, late 30s, 40s, your life is pretty much set. Your family, whatever it is pretty much set. You know that's where you're going to stick to, automatic. If you have the choice and you're capable of doing it, I would go for a manual because the options are there with that. But again, I can't advise you on that because everybody's circumstances is different. Blessing, you're welcome. And again, you guys are welcome. With that, thank you for giving up your time. That's the crucial bit. Because without you, there isn't a live. And without you, there isn't a channel. So I appreciate you guys being here. Right, let me do a hazard perception. First of all, before I do that, I want to show you how it all ties in, as I always do. So this is your driving test report sheet. So pass or fail, you're going to get a copy of this. For those of you asking me about manual and automatic, if you go to box 12, you won't have gears. I'll put the marks in there. You won't have gears in your car for automatic test, obviously. This will be marked, and obviously the clutch could be marked for a manual. You guys don't really get marked in that for automatic. So it's the same test sheet. And as I said, driving is driving. It doesn't really make a difference whether you're driving an auto or a manual. It just makes life a little bit easier in the auto because obviously you haven't got a clutch pedal to worry about. But if you learn to drive safely, when you go for your test, it doesn't matter because you know how to use it anyway. So, ferry test we just did ties in road sign, traffic signs. We've got 6 of them. Road markings, traffic lights, traffic controllers, other road users. So traffic controllers was that lollipop person, school crossing patrol, for example. How did they get you to stop? So like I said, those type of things you need to know. Hence why it's in the theory. So it applies to your driving test. Position normal driving, always stay left when possible. Pedestrian crossing, someone asked me to explain about the crossings. Puffins, toucans, pelicans, that's where it would go if you don't know what they are. I wasn't applying it in the right manner on your driving test. You're going to get parked up on the left a minimum of 3 times now in your driving test. Where shouldn't you park? Near a junction within 10 meters, not near a zebra crossing, stuff like that. So that's where it's in there. So when you park up on the left, examiner's making sure you're not breaking those rules, the brow of a hill, on a bend, that type of thing. And then your hazard perception is your mirrors. So before you signal, box 14, before you signal, change direction and change your speed. That's your hazard perception videos right there. They don't do the signaling on the video because you can't see the car signaling, but they want you to check your mirrors, or click in your case, before you change direction and change of speed. Let me just double check to make sure there's no comments that I'm missing on there. What does it mean, full UK driving license? Full UK driving license means passing your driving test. You are on provisional, which means you have to have somebody next to you when you are out driving. And I say somebody as in a full license holder for 3 years and over 21. They have to meet that criteria. Once you pass your driving test, you have a full UK license, which means you can drive on your own, whether it's automatic license or a automatic license or a manual license. You can drive on your own with nobody next to you. That's what they mean by full UK. Provisional means you're restricted. I was appreciating your advice. I tried manual, but it didn't work for me, and now I'm learning with auto now. Like I said, everybody's different. Auto manual is not for everybody. I'll give you a little history if you like. Automatic was for disabled people. Able-bodied people took it over. Automatic was invented for disabled people because it could be adapted for someone with one leg, one arm, a weaker leg, whatever happens to be that disability, other than being blind for obvious reasons. But it can be adapted. But able-bodied people took it over and started to drive automatics, and that's where it became a thing. Automatics easier, blah blah blah. It's only easier because you don't have to use your left leg, but it's the same driving, it's the same hazards, it's the same mirror checks, it's the same road positioning. It doesn't change. It's just that you're not using your left leg as often as you would do in a manual. That's the only difference. So if you fail your driving test, it's not because it's a manual or automatic, it's because you didn't make the safe decisions in that situations. But RP, manual isn't for everybody because of the coordination and everything else. So you have to choose what's right for you. If you're in doubt, have a lesson in both and then see which one suits you best. All right, so there's no other comments on that. Right, so let me come out of that. So a hazard, what is it? A hazard is anything that's going to cause you to slow down or change direction. So if you are watching the video and you feel, if I was driving now and I need to slow down, use the brake or move the steering wheel to go left or right, you should be clicking. And what you want to do is click twice per problem. What they're not telling you is that you need to get a score. They say click early, you get a higher score. But the problem is if you click too early, you get no score. So it's not about seeing the problem, it's about getting a score for the problem. And the way to do that is to click twice. See the problem, you click and literally count 1, 2, and click again. Literally like that, not 1, 2. Some of you are doing 1, 2. If the first one's too early, the second one's going to be too early. So it's literally click 1, 2, and then click again. That way, if the first click was too early, the second one should land in the 5 or the 4. If the first one landed in the 5, the second one will land in the 3 or the 2. But they're going to give you the highest mark. They will not downgrade you. So there's no benefits in clicking once. And what you don't want to do is, like someone said, click too many times through the video. So if you click on problems, i.e. hazards, it will not be too many clicks unless you're clicking 4 or 5 times for each hazard. If you are clicking on stuff that's random, the stuff that there's nothing to hit, nothing to slow down, or just in case, then you can add up to too many clicks. So that's something you need to be aware of. Click on things that exist that's going to cause you an issue, then you ain't got a problem. But if you click on things that don't exist, then it can be a problem. So now let me get my hazard perception up. Hazard perception, what are we doing? Practice. So there's 2 types of clips on your apps, real life and CGIs. When you go for the real test, it's all CGIs. As someone mentioned, there is no cursor. You just sit back and click your mouse and it registers the click. When you are doing it on your apps, you're not chasing the hazard, you just click anywhere on the screen. It doesn't matter, it registers the click. So don't go chasing the hazard down on the videos. Right, so I'll do a real life one so you can see the poor quality. I'll do this one 17. There's no stars on there. I'll do a commentary drive, which is me talking out loud, so you know what I'm looking at and why I'm clicking. The quality is poor. So as I'm driving, I'm scanning. There's a car parked up on the left, so I can't be a meter from. I'm gonna click 3 times for that one. I think I messed up. So when you're driving, you want to scan the road from left to right, right to left, because the road signs are on the pavement. So I'm looking, I can't see anything. The quality is really poor though. Side road, there's nothing there. The car's parked up on the left, or pulling up on the left, a blue car. I'm going to go for a third click on that. If you have to go for 3 clicks to get a score, so be it. Remember, it's getting a score, not to see the problem. So I've gone for 3 clicks on each one because I think I've messed up. Again, with the car, giveaway line, there's nothing for me to hit, so I don't need to click. 4 out of 5. So always review it back to see if you can improve. So technically, this wasn't a hazard as such. That's going to give me a score. That's why, look, I've gone for 3 clicks because I thought I messed up. Remember, get a score. That's all that matters. If you have to go for 3, then so be it. Let's speed up to save time. So the blue car was pulling up. God, I saw it really late. That's my first one. That's my second one. I went for a third one just to make sure. So that's a 4, 3, and a 2. They gave me the highest mark. But let's see if how can I improve, because I've seen that earlier. So I can't see if that guy's signaling because I can't see it on my video. As I said, the real life clips are hard to see, so I wouldn't be too hard on yourself if your score's not all that. The CGI ones now is where you want to be on point, because when you go for the CGIs, the scoring and the quality is on point. But the real life ones on this one, I can't see. I can't even see the brake lights. Now I can see the brake lights. So it'd have been hard for me to get a 5 on that, to be fair, because like I said, I can't see the car pulling up. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me see if you guys are saying anything. No, so you guys aren't asking no questions about that, so it seems all right. So that's the first one. So let me now do a real life, not real life, CGI. Don't know why I did that. All right, let's find one that's not been done before. Let's do this one, 12. So always scan from left to right, right to left. 50 miles an hour. So again, nothing's going on, so there's nothing for me to click. There's cars coming down the side of me to my right. So again, I'm just being aware of that silver car to my right. I'm aware of the lorry in front of me, but still scanning. There's nothing for me to click because there's nothing for me to slow down for at this point. There's a car in a hard shoulder. So I'm going to click on that. Again, I'm going to go for a third one because I think I've messed up. So he's caused me an issue. Again, keep going because you don't know if it's a double. Again, there's nothing going on for me to slow down or change direction, so I'm not clicking. Again, still nothing, so now I need to click. 5 out of 5. Always look to see if you can improve. With improvements on this one, because I got 5, is could I click earlier to get it earlier? So let's see where the 5 popped into. So the car on the hard shoulder. Right, so let me just rewind that back so you can actually see how that played out. So as soon as I saw the problem, I clicked. So there's the problem. There's my first click. And this is why I'm saying to you, it's not about seeing the problem, because I've seen it, I've clicked on it, that's a 0. Remember what I'm saying, it's about you getting a score for the problem you saw. You can see all day long, but if you get nothing for it, it means nothing. I repeat, it's about getting a score for the problem you saw. As simple as that. So I've seen it, I've clicked, but I go for 2 clicks to make sure. There's my, let's forward that again. So there's my first click. I go for 2 clicks per problem normally. There's my second one in the 5, and I thought I messed up. So I go for a third one just to make sure I get a score, which is a 3. but they give you the highest mark anyway. And that's how you want to be doing it. I repeat, a hazard is anything that's going to cause you to slow down or change direction. And that's what you want to click on. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me come out of that and see if you guys are saying anything on that. So let me come out of that. That's the wrong one. Samuel. Yeah, I totally agree. I'm doing it in front of me. I've got my iPad right here. I couldn't even see the blue card pulling up. And that's the reason why I'm saying don't be too hard on yourself. Still practice them because practice makes you better. But don't beat yourself up if the score is low. The CGI ones is the one you want to be focused on, because if your scores are low on the CGI, it means there's an issue and you need to solve that issue before you go for the real test. Because on the real test, it's all CGIs. Will the hazard perception driving always be on the left? If you mean is a hazard will always be on the left, no. A hazard, think about it, you're driving in real life. A hazard could be anywhere, coming from the right. A hazard could be behind you, but you can't see it on the video. I'm talking about in real life. The hazard could be behind you. It could be a police car coming, ambulance coming from behind. You can't see that in the video, so they're going to do, the hazard will always be in front of you. It could be left of you, as in the side road, for example, or the car parked up on the left, like it was for me, the blue car. It could be in front of you, someone stepping out in the middle of the road, or it could be on the right, cars coming from the right hand side. So it could be anywhere left, or middle, or right, but it'll always be in front of you on the videos. So a hazard is a hazard. In other words, unexpected. That's why they're training you to see hazards early, check your mirrors early, so you don't panic. Because if in real life driving, your brain is designed to protect you. If you see the problem late, you'll go for the brakes first in real life. The examiner wants you to check the mirrors first. And that's what the hazard perception is trying to train you to look ahead as far as you can see. On the videos, it starts from 5. In real life, it could be 6 seconds, 7 seconds, 8 seconds, depending how long the road is and how wide the road is. Yeah, missed a hell of a lot. The replay value, because I don't take the videos down on the lives. Once I finish, YouTube processes it and leaves it up there. Your videos have been incredibly helpful. Your driving test, well done to you, Daniel. Well done to you, pass your driving test. Congratulations. And that's what it's about. It's about you guys not only passing the theory test. The theory test is the route to getting your license. It's about you guys actually completing that journey and getting that license, not sitting on the theory. You'd be surprised because it's 2 years. Everybody say, oh, you've got 2 years. Before you know it, 2 years is done and dusted, and you have to resit the whole theory test. So that's what I'm encouraging you guys to just get it done. I know you guys are scared to book it, but get it done and get on with your driving lessons and get that driver's license, especially before the changes come in. Could you please demonstrate while counting 1, 2, trying to count after the first click? It's literally 1, 2. It's just literally count. Once you click, you just go 1, 2, and click again. That's all it is. I'll do another one and show you, but it's nothing special. Just don't do 1, 2. Some people say to me, you leave 2 seconds. I don't mention 2 seconds. I don't mention seconds. I just literally, if it works out to be 2 seconds, so be it. But I don't mention seconds. You never will see me say that in the videos, other than don't count seconds. So it's literally click 1, 2, and click again. But I'll demonstrate it again for you. You're welcome, that's what it's about. Yeah, Aisha, just don't stress. That's the most important thing. When you go in there, do not stress it out. Because it sounds like you got the knowledge, but it sounds like you're holding yourself back because you're panicking to a certain point. But I wish you luck with that, though. Please come back next week and let us know how you got on. Free, as you saw, Kalis, it's the same. I went for 3 clicks because I thought I messed up. I don't care if I go for 3 clicks. If I have to do 4, I wouldn't want to do 4, but if I have to do 4 to get that score, I'm doing it. Because like I said, I'm clicking on things that exist. It's never going to be too many clicks. So I'm not worried about that. I'm more worried about to make sure my average stays 3 above. Because remember, you need the average on 14 videos, you need 3 across the board. If your average is below 3, it's going to be a fail. So I'm not going to be embarrassed and say, well, I'll click 3 times, 4 times in the video. If it means I'd rather click 4 times and pass than click 2 times and fail. As I said, yeah, 2 clicks are generally all right, but if you think you've messed up, go for another one. Blessing, I'll see you next week. Oh, glad that's working out for you. That's what it's about, getting the 4s and 5s, because it brings your average up. Someone said earlier on they failed the hazard perception because they clicked too many times, which means they got 2 zeros. If your average is up, you getting zeros doesn't matter, because you're going to get enough 5s and 4s to stay above. And so when someone says, if you notice when they come up at 60, 61, 65, I'm amazed, because that is a high score on a real test, because it just shows they know what a hazard is. If you don't know what a hazard is, your score's always going to be around the 43, 44 pass mark. You're struggling. It should be in the 50s, to be fair. Oops. I mean, if a car you're driving can be parallel or contraflow. I must have missed a comment that you've made before, because you said I mean, as if to say you asked me something before. I'm not understanding that question, so please type it in again or clarify. I mean, if the car you are driving can be parallel or contraflow. Contraflow is going against the flow of traffic, so it can't be contraflow. Parallel is beside a car, or parallel with the curb. Contraflow means going against the flow of traffic, and you can't have a contraflow for a car. It's contraflow bus or cycle lane. So just clarify what you're talking about before we sign off. You're welcome. Again, you're welcome. Again, just because you did the questions, it doesn't mean to say, sometimes you could do 785 questions and memorize 785 questions. It's about understanding. As I said, from the conversation we had this morning, not knowing you, your knowledge doesn't seem that bad. It just seems like you're stressing over certain things, with good reason, because English is not your first language, but just don't stress so you start to freak out in there. All right, let me do another one, because someone went to demonstration of the clicks. So I'll do the counting as well. All right, let's do... another CGI, because better quality. Let's do this one. This I got no stars, so 27 something. You can't see what I'm saying. All right, let's remove this so you can see. So I'll do the counting as well. I'll do the commentary drive, and I'll do the count as well. So a bend coming up, brow of the hill, can't see. So click 1, 2, and I click again. Cars parked up, click 1, 2, click again, and I've got pedestrians in the road, click 1, 2, and again. The van parked up on the pavement, so I'm going to click. I can't be a meter from the pavement, so that's what I'm clicking. 1, 2, click again. Cars parked up on the pavement, click 1, 2, click again. And you want to be looking into the bends as far down the road as you can see. Slow on the floor, but there's nothing for them to click for, but it's warning me. Again, there's nothing coming from the side road, don't need to click. Look into the bend, nothing coming, don't need to click. 5 out of 5, always look to see if you can improve. So I'll let this one play out. So the brow of the hill, I can't see the other side. The reason why I'm clicking, I can't see. You see the yellow circle warning you. I can't see what's the other side of the hill. So that's why I'm clicking what if something's coming back. When you have driving lessons and you're going around bends and stuff, it should always be what if something's coming? What if something's in the road? That's why you check your mirrors. So there's my 2 clicks. So the road gets narrow here because I've got the cars parked up on the right. As driving instructors, we say less space, less speed. So if the road's wide and clear, you do whatever the speed limit suggests. If the road gets tight, you reduce the speed. And that's why I've clicked, because if you're reducing the speed, you've got to check your mirrors so you know it's safe to slow down. So there's my first click, and there's my second click. And then I went for the people in the road. Just about got a 5. So there's people in the road, there's my first click, and there's my second. And let me just add as well, just rewind this back. 2 different problems. The road is narrow, 1 problem. People in the road, a different problem. So it's 2 sets of different clicks. You can't use 1 click. That's what I'm seeing in the study camp. What my students are doing in the study camp, they're doing this. They see the road narrows, they click, and they won't click again. They think that click covers everything else after that. 2 different problems, 2 different clicks, because the situation behind you changes quickly. It takes a second for it to change. And that's the reason why you click. For every problem, different problem, you click twice. You cannot use the 1 click for the whole situation. So hopefully that makes sense, especially for the person that asked me to demonstrate the 2 click method. Let me just see what you guys are saying. Dangle's not seen you before, so welcome. 10 a.m. Start 10 and we go through till we finish. It's supposed to be 2 hours. Ooh, 12:27. Didn't realize it was so late. Appreciate you guys staying on though. 138 people still here. Appreciate you guys staying on. Yeah, so it's supposed to be 2 hours, 10 to 12. But I stay on as long as it takes to stay on, because my job is to help you guys understand and be more confident going into your studies or tests, whatever is coming up next. Yeah, that's brilliant. I know what to say, like 91%. I don't do percentages, but 91 is obviously a pass. Anyway, so that's the last comments I've seen on there. No problem, you are welcome. Hopefully see you again next week on time, by the way. But yeah, Dan, because if you've got any questions while you're studying during the week, just I say to all of you, write those questions down, doubts, concerns, write them down, bring it to the live next week and we'll go through it. That's why I go live. I repeat, so I can answer your question directly to you rather than a generic answer that you got to search YouTube for to find a video for it. Yeah, get it booked. All of you, get your test booked. Unless you just started studying yesterday, for example. If you're studying for a while, because some of you have been here for a while, get your test booked. Nerves is a natural thing. It's not a bad thing. It's natural. Would you ever be ready for a test? Probably. Would you ever feel ready for a test? Probably not. But it doesn't mean to say you can't pass it. If you study until you're ready, that could be 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. And then it becomes a revision exercise after that because you exhausted the questions on the app. I repeat, the sweet spot for studying is 30 days. Because once you start to go over the 30 days, you're getting repeated questions on the app. And like I said, you're starting to memorize the questions and answers. You're not learning them anymore. And that's the problem. So don't be afraid to book your test and work towards it. Right, let's just finish off with these comments. Curtis, hello to you. My test is on the 17th in school. Yeah, you've done the right way. Start to step up the mock test. What I would do, when's your test the 17th? Which is Tuesday week. So what I would do is what I advise my students. So you've done the categories, you've done the right thing. What you want to start to do now, as you start to approach the week before your test, start to do mock tests as a full package, the questions and hazard perception straight after. And the reason why you're doing that, you're now training the brain to be mentally strong, because when you go for the real test, remember, you're doing the questions, you got like 3-minute break, and then you go into the hazard perception. So you want to train your brain to be mentally strong now to tackle that as well. So you're doing the right thing in terms of studying. Yeah, most people, once they understand hazard perception, keep passing hazard perception. It's very rare my students struggle with hazard perception. It's always going to be the questions, because you don't know what questions you're going to get. Once you know what a hazard is, which is anything called slow down or change direction, it's the same for any video, it's just a different hazard. But the questions will always be different and worded differently. If you're struggling with multiple choice, you have to ask yourself, which questions are you keep getting wrong, and learn why you're getting them wrong. That's the key. What you guys are doing when you're studying, you answer a question, the app says this is the answer, and you try to remember that for next time. That's not the way to study. The way to study is you answer the question. If it's wrong, work out why you chose that answer. Try to get into your mind and think, why did you choose that answer? Why is that answer wrong? Because once you understand why the answer is wrong, the brain will eliminate for next time and won't make the same mistake twice. And then you now look at the right answer, and then you try to work out why the answer is correct. So the brain learns from that. Think about it. The days of, in the younger generation, when I was younger, I used myself as example. My mum always said, don't play with fire. But I did at some point, and guess what? I didn't do it again because I found out why. She didn't tell me why. She said, do not play with fire, blah, blah, blah. But once I played with it and I got burnt from it, I understood why. The brain doesn't make the same mistake twice. And that's the reason why you need to understand why you chose the wrong answer. Once you understand it, the brain eliminates that. It doesn't make the same mistake twice. And then you start to see your scores go up and up and up. If your scores are always around the 40, 41 mark, you're not learning from mistakes. That's why it's constant and stays the same. So learn why you're getting your questions wrong. Yeah, apply the method. But remember, it's trial and error. There's nothing saying you're going to get it right first time. But remember, you're practicing to get better. There's nothing wrong with making errors at home and learn from the mistakes. That's why I say review it back to see how you can improve. So where with the blue car, for example, I couldn't see the brake lights. But if I was studying, I would try to obviously get my score slightly higher. I think I got 4 for that one. Tried to get it in the 5 for obvious reasons. And that's what I mean by improvements. Fernando, I've not seen your name before, so welcome to you. Got my test. Yeah, please come back next week. Let me know how you got on. I wish you luck with that. As you good luck with it. See you next week. Less week. Can't talk. Next week, not less. Yeah, don't stress. Nerves is a good thing, not a bad thing. Just don't stress out in there. Trust yourself that you got the knowledge. Just dig deep to find it. You're welcome. Oh, test tomorrow. I wish you luck with that. Please come back next week, Curtis. Let us know how you got on. Did my test on the 4th and passed first time. TFQ, I've not seen you before, so welcome. 50 out of 50. Well done to you. Got the max. Well done. And 55. You are welcome. Thank you for coming to the live and sharing that. 50 out of 50. That's like I said, that's not easy. Even on some of my videos, I don't get 50 out of 50. How many times should I do my theory mock test a day and watch one of your videos every day? I want to theory test on the 1st of May. 1st of May is too far away. That's outside of 30 days. We're talking about 8th of March now. April, 4 weeks. That's almost 8 weeks away. Why 1st of May, first of all? I think that's too far. And I can't answer how many mock tests a day. I wouldn't do mock tests a day anyway. Just rereading your question, I wouldn't do mock tests a day because, like I said, you need to do the categories. Think about it. 14 categories. You start doing mock tests, you haven't studied the 14 categories. There are going to be questions from those categories that you don't know. It's not a true reflection of the scores. You do the categories first, so you have all the knowledge, and then you do the mock test to make sure that knowledge has stayed with you. You can't study for something that you haven't got the knowledge for. And I wouldn't do a mock test every day. That's a waste of time and brain calories. I'm not expecting to pass on my first test. I will do my best at it, but I won't want to get the feel of a real thing before I take it for serious. I don't know what to say to that. First of all, I'm not expected to pass on the first test. Then why go for it? That's a negative way of thinking. I'll do my best, fair enough, and I want to get the feel for the real thing before I take it. Why are you not taking it seriously? That's the question. If you was my student, I'd be thinking, why are you not taking it seriously? You don't go and take a test and then say, well, I'm going to take it serious now. This is driving me talking about. But you got to do you. I can't say anything to that. You got to do you. But I think you should be taking it serious from the word go. Not to mention it saves you money as well. But I still wish you luck with it. I failed my exam last week, scored 42, 50, 55. Yeah, as I just mentioned, 42 out of 50. If you're getting 42, you said, I've been really passing always, 94 to 100. Just because you're passing doesn't mean to say you understand it. What you've done is memorized it, not deliberately, but you know what the answer is. But when you go for the real test and it's worded differently, because you don't understand it, that's why you failed it. So let me just repeat what I'm just saying, because some of you are still not getting it. Just because you're passing mock test after mock test, it doesn't mean to say you're going to pass the real test. In some cases, not all, you're passing mock test because you recognize the question, which means you recognize the answer. Technically, you've memorized it. In some cases, and most cases, it's not deliberate. It's because the question keeps coming up again and again and again. And that's why I say 30 days is the sweet spot. Because once you start to go over 30 days, the questions get repeated. No matter what you do, the questions get repeated again and again. And it becomes a memorizing exercise. And like I said, it's not deliberate. But when you go for the real test, the understanding is not there. Hence why you fail it. But you've booked it for next Saturday. So I wish you the best of luck with that. Just get those studying in. At this point, 8 questions, 5 categories wrong. Restudy those categories, but try to get some understanding behind it. That's where your weakness is. Luscious, hopefully I'll see you next week. I appreciate that. Mother's Day. Don't have to be here. The replay's there. Thank your colleague for me. As well, give them my thanks because I appreciate the shares. No, the study with me series, and there's another one. It gives you a head start. I think the study with me is 20 questions, and I can't remember what the other playlist is called, but it's 30 questions. It just gives you a head start breaking it down. What you want to do is watch the playlist and then go off and do the categories on the app. All the categories, all the questions on the app. Now you got the full 774 questions knowledge, and then you go off and do the mock test. And the mock test will highlight any weaknesses. But if you go and do a mock test and you get 5 questions from a category you never studied, the chance of you getting those 5 questions right is slim. But it doesn't give you a true reflection of what is weak and what is strong. So that's why I say do the categories first. There is no rush to do mock test. The mock test is the ultimate. The categories is the requirement. That's what you got to understand. There's a difference. Please, good luck and see you next week with that. Right, that's the last comment on there. So I'm going to call it a day because we've been on there for a long while and I appreciate your time. Can't find the time on there. Wow. That's the longest I've ever done a live as well. So I appreciate 2 hours, 38 minutes. And I appreciate that. And I appreciate you guys still being here because there's over 100 of you here still. And when I enjoy myself, I just keep going. But I know that you guys are giving up your Sundays. So I've got to be appreciative of your time as well. So I thank you again for being here. Those of you who got a test coming up this week, I wish you the best of luck. Please come back next week and share the result, good or bad. If it's good, give other people inspiration. If it's bad, we work on it, improve on it, and hopefully you get it for the next time. But most importantly, look after yourself this week and stay safe. and I shall see you next Sunday. For you latecomers, 10 a.m. next week. Take care. Have a good one.